Lord of the Rings spoilers came out yesterday, and a lot of this set is not what I expected. Spoiler season for Lord of the Rings began yesterday, and I have to admit, a lot of these cards were not what I expected. Hi everyone and welcome back. MTG Moxman here. Thanks again for hanging out with me on my channel today. We are going to be talking about some of the Lord of the Rings spoilers that came out yesterday. I watched the Twitch stream, I took a look at Mythic spoilers, but there are specifically a few cards I want to go over. I could just put up every card, but you can all go look at those cards for yourself, of course. So there's a few cards I want to focus in on that can really make a great set or ruin it, and why I think these cards are worth paying attention to. Now, normally this would be in place of a card watch video today, but these spoilers are important enough that I think they are worth watching. So let's take a look at some amazing Magic cards, and one that I'm really not that happy about. So the first card I want to share with everyone is the one that I was most excited to see. And now, it's kind of a letdown, and I'm going to explain on several levels here. The card is the Balrog. We all know I love this card. I've been talking about it for months now, and here we have it on paper, which, again, that is pretty amazing to see something come to life like this you've always dreamed about. But let's talk about where some of the faults lie in the card. As a 1 red, 1 black, 3 generic for a 7/7, that's a pretty good casting cost ratio. I'm actually pretty happy about that. Compared to nowadays creature power levels, this is pretty decent. It has trample. That makes perfect sense. It is a legendary creature, and it has a little bit of a bonus there. Avatar and Demon. Remember, we've seen a few new avatars come out. We constantly see demons. It means this card could be a bridging card between different deck creations later on. I like that part. Now, it doesn't have anything else that really goes great, though. This is where it kind of falls apart. I was expecting a little more from this card, from the sheer power level they give this card in the movies, but it says when a legendary creature an opponent controls dies, put the Balrog on the bottom of its owner's library, which means if you kill one of their legendary creatures, this guy gets banished to the bottom. That doesn't do it for me. It really limits the power level, and the artwork to me is totally cartoonish, and it's something I would imagine seeing on a Saturday morning cartoon somewhere in the early 90s. It just doesn't fit with what I expected to see for this card. It doesn't have the flames the kind of way I expect. Anyway, it's a letdown on that level for the artwork. I wished it was more. Maybe there was no pleasing me. I feel this card met me like 20% of the way. It just didn't do it, okay? Now, although this card is a disappointment, and yes, it's going to be a 50-cent bulk buy at some point, I get that it's still kind of cool to see this card come to life. I'm hoping there's different variations and versions. I really hope. Give us like the Nazgul, 9 different types. Give us some different power levels, though. I don't know, kind of crazy. Now, the rest of the cards in today's video are something entirely different. Because when you're looking at a new set, and don't forget, this is a very expensive set, and they've done a lot of things to spice this set up. I know I should be doing like a whole huge montage of cards, right? That's what a lot of the YouTube content creators will do. But I looked at it and said, you guys are going to look at a lot of these cards. I'm not going to cover the box toppers today, although they're awesome. I will probably do them at a later date. I need to do some price comparisons and look at some data on that. But these next cards are really kind of important to pay attention to. And they really can make or break a given set at this price level. And this is why they're so interesting. Let me show you the first card I'm talking about. Here is Rivendell, legendary land. Rivendell enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a legendary creature. It taps to add 1 blue to your mana pool. 1 blue, 1 other. Scry 2. Activate only if you control a legendary creature. In some ways, this card mechanic, it really does remind me of Soldevi Excavations. It doesn't tap for 2 blue. It has the limitations of, you've got to be able to have a legendary creature out to really make things work for you. But it does give me that feel. So it hits me in the right spot. I get the good feeling. It also fits along with other imitation cards like Castle Vantress. Things that let you scry. More lands like this that let you look ahead are quite interesting in how gameplay can be progressed later on. It doesn't seem like a really high-powered card, but we all know they've gone ahead and given us very low casting cost legendary creatures over the last several years, which is why cards like Mox Amber have become so valuable. cards like this, and again, take another quick look at it. When you look at this card, the legendary creature effect is not as much of a drawback as you think. I think the one blue, one other kind of fits in nicely, and it's Scry 2, not Scry 1. So I really think that's pretty awesome to see fitting into a card. This is just one of those cards, I don't think it's going to be like a $20 card, but it's going to have a little bit of value. And this is where we got to remind ourselves that sets that do well in the long run always have a decent mana base. Everyone can go goo goo gaga amazing over Gandalf or Sauron or Saruman. Those are just creatures. A lot of these long-term decisions for these cards will be decided by the mana base of the set they're built into. A weak mana base means they won't do well. And this is an entirely different beast. And not only that, remember with the box toppers, which again I'm not going into, but some of the lands that they've added to the box topper, those are ones you should be paying attention to as well. They're trying to make sure this set is successful. Now let me take a look here at the next land with you, and this is Baradur. Okay, remember, a black land, but this is interesting. It enters the battlefield tapped, unless you control legendary creatures. Same theme, right? Okay. Now it taps for 1 black mana. Now look at the bottom power. Double X, black, and tap. Amass Orcs X. Activate only if a creature died this turn. Well, we all know there are dozens of ways of killing creatures off, okay? We know that going forward, that we have lots of opportunities to kill off token creatures, minor creatures. Do you think this isn't going to find its way into my Thrall deck? My Throwbowl deck is definitely going to be using this. The amass mechanic can mean turn over turn, I can get bigger and bigger creature created at a minimal cost. Even if you just do it at the end of a turn and stuff, this has got some real playability factor to it. And the artwork I find on both, like Rivendell, I can't wait. Like, these cards look beautiful to me. I love the artwork, and as with most of the cards in Lord of the Rings, I am really pleased with most of the artwork I've seen. Most of it. Not all of it, but most of it. Now, the next one. Take a look here. This is Minas Tirith. Now, these lands aren't as crisp of an image, okay? I'm sure, there'll be better ones up in a few days, but this is a legendary land. It caught my eye right away. Minas Tirith enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a legendary creature, similar to the other ones. But here it says, tap to add 1 white to your mana pool. White, green, tap. Draw a card. Activate only if you attacked with 2 or more creatures this turn. If you guys think that this does not fit in with the soldier decks we've seen, the knight decks that we've seen, where you get lots of little token creatures out and attacking, this all fits together in the bigger scheme of how they're doing things. This land will be very playable. It's going to let you draw cards at a very minimal cost. The mana base so far for this is very nice. Now, the next one is the weakest of the lot that I've seen so far, and that is the Mines of Moria. And that's because I like the artwork, but the land to me doesn't do enough. Mines of Moria enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a legendary creature. Taps for 1 red. But it has the mechanic of 1 red, 3 other. Exile 3 cards from your graveyard to create 2 treasure tokens. Now, there are lots of reasons to create your treasure tokens. I understand that. There's lots of reasons to go and do that. But on the bigger scheme of how this will be played out, that's the weakest of the lands out there, because you're gonna be destroying your own graveyard to get to those treasure tokens. And there are more efficient ways of blowing that mana, unless you're in a desperate situation and you do it at the end of a turn. I guess it can come into play that way, and there will be more. Of course, we know there's a lot of eating those food tokens up and stuff to make things happen, a lot of eating treasure tokens, all kinds of clue tokens. We got tokens everywhere that can fit with these. I'm just not sure how that plays out right now, so for the time being, I consider that one the weakest. Now, when you look at these going forward, remember that the mana base of any set can really drive the sales in the future. When we look at Kamigawa and Neon Dynasty, the mana base is very good. And again, red was kind of weak there too, just like this one. Making the 2 little guys instead of something decent. I mean, the artwork is awesome, but the Mines of Moria, you think it would do something better for you. You think it would do something for dwarves or something for orcs, and it didn't do either of those things other than offer treasure, which we really didn't see a lot of treasure in the Mines of Moria during the movies and stuff. I don't remember in the book, but it's just kind of crazy how they can put this stuff together to drive those sales forward. And I was going into the Twitch stream very negative, but I left quite happy. And that's a good thing for me. It may not be for everyone out there, but that's a good thing for me. I know the singles are going to drop in price. I know I don't have to go out and buy boxes of this stuff. I can wait for things to go on sale. I'm a patient player. But the artwork, the stuff I saw, the card mechanics, seeing Treants this way, it was kind of cool. Okay, I'm waiting to see more, obviously. But right now, I got to say, I left a lot happier than I expected, other than our poor Balrog. And I'm looking forward to seeing what more of these spoilers are coming forward. You guys let me know what you think about this mana-based collection they've added to this set, because I still think that is the most important thing inside the set right now. And this set is going to do a lot better than people expected. When you look at that high price point, and you now look at the cards they've been packing in, as well as box toppers, you can kind of get an idea of where they were going with this and why they priced it the way they did. I'm still not happy about the price, but at least I can look at the cards and the value they're giving us and understand where they were headed. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning into the channel today. Remember, if you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to like and subscribe, turn your notification bells on, and every new subscriber is helping me get closer to 20,000 subs, and the party we're going to have for everyone when we get there is going to be epic. I'll see you all tomorrow. Alright guys, I gotta say a big shout out and thank you to the fantastic patrons of the channel, the ones who are the team supporters. Because of them, daily content uploads. This is what happens when you have patrons. So thanks again, everyone. Patrons rock. Okay, you made it to the end. Let's go into something here. You messed up the Balrog. Not as bad as you could have. At least it has trample. But you messed it up. And that irks me. Okay, if you're going to make it when it kills a legendary creature, go to the bottom. You got to make that thing a 9/9, a 10/10. You got to do something more. Give it haste. Make it do something. It's going to come onto the battlefield, and it's going to get eliminated right away. And who's going to waste 5 mana casting that? Out of all the cards you could have messed up, this is the card. The one card I wanted. The one card I asked for. You all know. Anyone who makes it to the end here knows how I feel about this card, knows how long I've been waiting. It's like messing up Timeless Lotus all over again. But Rivendell, that's ahead of the curve. That puts a smile on my face. With that errant card, that one blue casting cost legendary, you can make this work. You can make this stuff work, man, and that makes me happy. So I'll take that with a smile. But man, the Balrog, you couldn't do something? Anyway, thanks for hanging out, guys. Thanks for being here. We'll put Balrog in the comment section because, you know, we got to pay our respects because it's never getting played.